This afternoon, there are growing concerns about potential food insecurity in the northern regions of Ghana due to inadequate rainfall this year. The unusual and irregular rainfall patterns have led to widespread devastation in the areas, with many farmlands left parched and crops severely damaged. The dry spell has had a particularly harsh impact on commercial farmers who have faced significant losses as a result of the lack of adequate rainfall. The situation has left fields of groundnuts, yam, millet, rice, sorghum and maize struggling to survive, with many farms experiencing total crop failure. Upper West Regional Correspondent IBRAHIM Wangara is joining us this afternoon with a bit more details. We will speak to him shortly, but let's walk you through the 8 regions which are experiencing these devastating droughts, and that's what's on your screens right now. The affected regions include the Bono East Oti Northern region, the Northeast region, the Savannah region, Upper East region, and then the Upper West region. And these are the areas which have been gravely affected, and we know that the Minister for Food and Agriculture, IBRAHIM, he's been speaking and he's been saying that in the Bono and Bono East, Oti and the 5 northern regions, farmers' crops have been destroyed. As a ministry, we must intervene and assist the farmers who've lost their crops due to the dry spell. That's the latest from the Agric Minister, IBRAHIM. IBRAHIM Wangara, like I mentioned, is my colleague. He's joined us with details right now. IBRAHIM, talk to us. We've spoken to the levels of devastation of farmlands and the sort of farm produce that have been affected. Can you walk us through what you've seen and what it's looking like really for these farmers?
The prolonged dry spell in the Upper West region or northern part of Ghana has had a devastating impact on farmers, with commercial farmers being the most affected in this country. Crops that were starting to germinate are now struggling to survive in the current dry weather. Though there has been little drops of rains in the area, but farmers say it is insufficient. A 350-acre maize farmer, together with other farmers who are badly affected by the dry spell, expressed their frustrations. Let's take a listen to what they have been telling us.
It has greatly affected it negatively. You can see how crops have been affected. Those that are tasseling and during the drought period had been affected badly. Last year, for instance, we had about 150 acres. But we harvested more than 3,000 bags of maize, that's the 50 kgs. And this year we increased it to 350 acres. We have lost a lot. We have lost a lot. No matter how many times the rain comes, but those that we have planted earlier have already affected, and I think we have lost them like that.
For the rainfall this year, it has affected a lot. I applied the fertilizer in June up to August. I didn't get rain, so it has affected my crops a lot. Last year, I farmed 20 acres, and then I got 150 pieces of 100 kgs. And then this year too, I can't best tell. But all my maize, it has spoiled. It has spoiled a lot. So I can't best sell. I don't even know whether I can get.
So the farmers we've been hearing from, IBRAHIM Wangara still with us. We know that many have expressed the issues of potential food insecurity and the future of Ghanaian farmers. Can you speak to this as to why this concern is coming up so strongly?
The future of Ghanaian farmers is threatened because this year many youths have gone into farming, but the dry spell is now serving as a disincentive to these young ones, as they no longer have that interest to venture into farming next season. We can take a listen to what they have been telling us.
And the land that the bulldozer clear is about 38 acres. That is 38 acres that the bulldozer clear. But I want to use the land to sow sorghum. But currently, there is no rain that for me to use the land to plant the sorghum. So currently, I left the land. I don't know what to do. I'm totally confused. I don't know what to do.
Considering this year, a lot of young guys went into farming. because we believe that that is the area that can help boost the economy in this country. But what have affected us this year, I think many people will be discouraged. I think the whole of Northern Belt, everybody has been affected. I think that food security in Ghana is something that the government have to take seriously. If not, we are going to face a very huge challenge.
Now, the only hope for these farmers is for the area to witness a little drop of rain further, so that they could salvage the little that they could make out of the many investments they have done. So that has been the situation for farmers within the northern part of Ghana, specifically.
Ibrahim, thank you. Thank you for those details. That's my colleague Ibrahim Wangara. He covers the Upper West region for us. We'll subject this to a bit more scrutiny and analysis. Professor Roger Adamu Lore Canton is the chair of the Agricultural and Environmental Union of Sisala Development Network, and formerly with the Savannah Agricultural Research Institute of the CSIR. He's joined us this afternoon for a quick conversation. Prof, I appreciate that you could speak to us. Let's start off with what we're experiencing, whether or not it is unusual, and the concern being raised as to whether or not there are specific soil types that could have helped salvage the situation for it not to reach these very worrying levels.
Yeah, thank you very much, Media General TV3, for having me. Actually, it is not an unusual situation. It's a normal situation. In fact, meteorological long-term data have shown that every decade, normally, we experience an extreme weather event. And that weather event could be rain, could be a flood, a drought, or, an infestation of pests and diseases. So that is normal, we've been encountering. Now, the second question is, are we prepared to handle these things? And the answer is simple. We are not as a nation. Year in, year out, decade in, decade out, regime after regime, we have not sat down to discuss with those who matter in the agri sector to see how we can get a once and for all solution to this nagging recurrent situation. We engage on what I call panic and fire brigade measures. A problem comes, a minister or someone jumps to the field, they see this come back, nothing happens, you support after this, next year or in another decade it comes, we go back to square one. We need a national discourse as a people, devoid of any partisan, religious, ethnic, and ethnocentric discussions or perceptions. As a nation, with people that are very well grounded on the ground, all stakeholders, so that we find a final solution to this. It is not impossible. We have the knowledge. We have the competitive and comparative advantage in handling this. Now, to the issue of the soils, it depends. Once drought comes and hits at the level it has hit, there's no soil type that can sustain any crop growth at all. If anybody tells you that it's a sham.
So Prof, just to come in, you've just stated it quite clearly, a challenge that continues to happen every year. We don't take any action. It's not the first time anybody has made the call for a national action plan of some sort so that we can plan for the future. It doesn't look like that happens even after this year. It's not likely that that will happen. But given the fact that we've been hit with the droughts this year, are there any recovery measures to which we can begin to employ to ameliorate the situation that we find ourselves in, or it's a lost cause?
In fact, a lot of the crops is a lost cause. There's nothing that can be done. They have gone beyond what we call in crop physiology their wilting point. Nothing, no intervention in those cases, except, of course, a divinely intervention, if not nothing. But those crops that were planted later and were able to go through 2 to 3 weeks drought, and now the rains have restored, they can be salvaged. In fact, I can tell you, Sisala is where I come from. Look, a farmer who does, every year, 1,000 acres of maize, right, and 3,000 acres of soybean without growers, and about 100 of sesame, has just told me half of the fields are gone. nothing can be done. It's the remaining that were planted late that he's hoping for. Now the question is, what is government going to do? My suggestion is, you see, we should move away from knee-jerk panic and fire brigade interventions. They simply do not work. You will come back to it and be flogged again. So the question is, how can we solve this? Yes, we have the short term and long term. In the long term, in the short term, currently, farmers have lost. What do? I think government should engage them and find out those that have permanently lost. We need to refund the investments that they have made. In fact, an acre in the north, particularly Sahara area, will cost about 5,000 Ghana cedis. I myself, I'm a farmer. I have farm. I have farms there. So we have the geo references.
So the government should reinvest into these farmlands and be able to ensure that they... Prof, I thank you for speaking to us. We have to end the conversation here. That's Professor Kanton speaking to us this afternoon.